President Trump said he's ready to start deporting millions of illegal aliens who continue to break the law. Can he do it? Meanwhile, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is comparing the situation at the southern border to concentration camps, and she's continuing her fight against Amazon. Plus, a Florida newspaper has already made its endorsement in the 2020 presidential race. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. We're going to start with Trump, but first, we want to hear from our friends over at Bottle Breacher. They invite you to check out the best in man gifts, groomsmen gifts, corporate and promotional items on the market. Just go to bottlebreacher.com, use coupon code Bobby13-A1 for Made in America items that are awesome. That's bottlebreacher.com, coupon code Bobby13-A1. All right, let's talk about President Trump because he's ready for action. He's instructing ICE that we need to start deportations. Here's a report from the Washington Times. ICE deportation officers will soon begin to deport millions of illegal immigrants, President Trump said on Twitter Monday night, saying everyone is beginning to cooperate on this issue, save for Democrats on Capitol Hill. Next week, ICE will begin the process of removing the millions of illegal aliens who have illicitly found their way into the United States, the president said. They will be removed as fast as they come in. So the situation has reached new levels. We understand the crisis. ICE is trying to deport people, but they've never deported more than 500,000 in any given year. And now the president wants millions gone for continuing to break the law. Here's more from the Washington Times. But as the administration makes headway with Mexico and getting that country to cut the flow of new illegal immigrants, officials are beginning to wonder about how to handle the tens of thousands of children and families who are jumping the border each month now and are released into the U.S. Rough math suggests that hundreds of thousands of new illegal immigrants have been added to the total unauthorized population over the last few years. So who's Trump targeting? He's targeting multiple lawbreakers, those who skip out on their hearings for so-called asylum, saying they were seeking asylum when they were just gaining entry into the country. Washington Examiner has a great piece yesterday, and here's some of that. President Trump's renewed pledge to deport huge numbers of illegal immigrants is inspiring anger, but it's hardly righteous. If, as Homeland Security advisor has explained, the targets of Trump's deportation plans will be those illegal immigrants who have failed to show up for their assigned court hearings, then Trump is morally, ethically, and legally justified in deporting them. The tut-tutting chorus might as well spare us their faux moral histrionics. So we'll get to some of the moral histrionics and the outrage that's going on among the Democrats. But first of all, here's more from the report. The immigrants Trump is targeting are people who have broken American law not once but twice. First, they entered the country illegally without papers. Second, when given a court hearing where they could, for example, make bids for asylum or otherwise make a case for being allowed to stay, they again thumbed their noses at the legitimate authority of their generous hosts. Such poor guests deserve no sympathy no matter what the circumstances came from. So that's good stuff, and it shows a common sense approach. Look, if you want to come here illegally. If you are actually escaping, if you are seeking asylum and you can't go through the long citizenship process, then make it be legitimate. You can't mess around with the system, which is what's been going on and what the Democrats and the left have been encouraging. They're saying, hey, come here. We're going to let you in. Go ahead. They're going to assign you a court hearing. You just escape into the country and are never heard from again. And that's what we're dealing with. So when Trump came out with this, the left just went, just bonkers. The Democrats are trying to put, poison pills into border legislation that will change the way the immigration laws are, laws that just are riders that will just shut the process down. And so that's what they're dealing with on the legislative side. On the moral histrionics and demagoguery side, you've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who decided to go onto Instagram and put out this.
The United States is running concentration camps on our southern border. And that is exactly what they are. They are concentration camps. And if that doesn't bother you, we can have, okay, whatever.
All right, seriously? I mean, can the Democrats do something about her? Because there's got to be some Democrats who think that this is outrageous, and they have to be embarrassed, right, with what she's saying? But there's more. Check this out.
This is a crisis on if America will remain America in its actual principles and values, or if we are losing to an authoritarian and fascist presidency.
An authoritarian and fascist presidency. She actually believes that's what's going on because we're trying to protect the southern border. It's just outrageous. Well, those comments didn't go without a rebuttal. And on Fox News, the vice president of the National Border Patrol Council spoke, and here's what he had to say.
I've had it, up to here with all these individuals constantly trying to compare concentration camps to what we're doing. I was just at one of the detention facilities. The kids were outside their cell because we have so many of them. They were out on the floor playing puzzles. They were watching movies, eating cookies, and what have you. And she needs to come down here.
All right. And after that, she didn't stop. She went on. If you check out her Twitter feed, she doubles down on this concentration camp issue or this claim, and then she's trying to parse her words, saying that there's a difference between concentration camps and death camps, because immediately people recognize that when you talk about concentration camps, you're talking about what happened to the Jews during World War II, the millions and millions who were killed for no reason other than genocide. And now she wants to say, oh, well, first they had camps and then they became death camps. I'm talking about when they were there. Well, make no mistake, no one confuses the issue. When you talk about concentration camps, we all know what you're implying. And if you read her Twitter feed, some of her supporters, they're just nuts. They're out there. They're saying, oh, wow, yeah, we're not at death camps yet, but the way this is starting, the way this is looking is awfully similar to how Germany looked at the early stages, as if we're now going to start gassing illegal immigrants and wiping out tens of thousands at a time and throwing them in a ditch. It's outrageous, but that's what she says, and it for the most part goes unchecked. And the Democrats, they've got to do something. And that's not the only issue. On Monday, we covered her attack on Jeff Bezos of Amazon, saying, it's immoral for him to be a billionaire, and saying the things that he does in order to become a billionaire, one of which was paying starvation wages. Check out this clip from Monday's show.
And do you think that's why he's a billionaire? Because he pays his workers starvation wages?
I think it's certainly a part of the equation when you have a very large workforce and you underpay every single person. And then you also participate in taking billions of dollars of government subsidies. I think that could be part of it.
So the statement doesn't even make sense. She says that Amazon underpays everyone, that they're getting a starvation wage. So you have to ask yourself, what is a starvation wage according to her? Because she's pushing for a $15 minimum wage. That's a national federal minimum wage. That's what she's pushing. But if you look at payscale.com and look at hourly wage averages for Amazon, it comes to $15.20 an hour. So they're actually getting paid on average more than what she's saying for a minimum wage. So is she advocating a starvation wage legislation? Is that what she's pushing? Well, of course, Amazon didn't just sit there and take it. They fired back with this tweet saying, AOC is just wrong. Amazon is a leader on pay at $15 minimum wage plus full benefits from day one. We also lobby to raise the federal minimum wage. So she couldn't take that. Once she gets going on Twitter, it's a bunch of insanity. So she came back with this. From day one, really? 1 in 10 of Amazon's Ohio employees were on food stamps after the company opened fulfillment centers in the state. Paying full-time employees so little that they require government food assistance is what paying starvation wage means. And then she included a link to a Daily Beast article. So that wasn't enough for her. She also went and added this. If a person is working 40 hours per week and is paid so little that they need government help to make ends meet, it's not the person that's a weight on our system, it's the company. People need to be paid a living wage. We stand up to companies that rely on food stamps to make up for their low wages. So let's get into this for a little bit, because she cites a Daily Beast article that talks about 1 in 10 Ohio employees still receiving food assistance, food stamps, and everything. So that story contains this passage. 2 years after Amazon opened fulfillment centers in Ohio in 2015, approximately 1 in 10 of Ohio employees appeared to be receiving public assistance through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program Benefits Program, or SNAP. The Daily Beast previously reported, SNAP benefits are available to individuals and families living below the poverty line. So the rest of the story talks about how bad conditions are and things like that. But the article they referenced, this was from September of last year. The article then referenced the study on these Ohio employees. And that article has this. The data obtained by the research group Policy Matters Ohio and shared with the Daily Beast suggests chronic poverty in the once promising Amazon centers. Policy Matters Ohio estimates that more than 1 in 10 Amazon employees in Ohio receive Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits, which are available to people and families living below the poverty line. And here's what I hate about left-wing writing. You see this in the right too, but a lot on the left. And you guys really should just look for it and be aware. Because in these articles, these two passages that I cited, you see things like suggest or estimates or could be or things like that. They draw conclusions from suppositions when the facts are there. They're supposed to be looking at data, poverty line data, income data, employment data, but they don't actually present it and draw real conclusions from it. And here's where she goes and gets really messed up, because she's mixing apples and oranges and not giving you the facts. The thing is, the poverty line is not determined just on wages. It's also determined on the size of the family, the number of children you have under 18 in the home. So you could be making a decent wage, but if you have 15 or 10 kids at home, guess what? You're going to be struggling. That has nothing to do with Amazon. Also, their articles, the Daily Beast articles, did not specify full-time employees. So some of these could be employed by Amazon part-time. So they're not making enough to be over the poverty line, and yet she blames Amazon, quotes full-time employee, problems. Yet this study did not just focus on full-time employees. It's just a mess, folks. So finally, I want to get into how far journalism has fallen, and I've got this report from the Washington Times, which is about the Orlando Sentinel in Florida. They've made their endorsement, and here's what they say. We're here to announce our endorsement for president in 2020, or at least who we're not endorsing. Donald Trump, the Florida paper's editorial board said. Some readers will wonder how we could possibly eliminate a candidate so far before an election and before knowing the identity of his opponent, because there's no point pretending we would ever recommend the readers to vote for Trump. After 2.5 years, we've seen enough, they wrote. Enough of the chaos, the division, the schoolyard insults, the self-aggrandizement, the corruption, and especially the lies, they said. So there you have it, folks. The Orlando Sentinel endorses anyone else other than Trump. You heard it here first. All right, folks, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please subscribe and please hit that bell when you do so you'll get notified. We'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberly. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, just a little reminder before you go, and no, this does not count against my 13 minutes. Please hit the subscribe button below and tell your friends. And if you happen to miss our last show, you can check it out right here. And also for great conservative news and commentary, please check out GOPUSA.com. All right, folks, we'll see you on the next show. Have a great day.